Today I am going to talk about negative adverbs. Before dealing with negative adverbs, I like to know what negative adverbs are in fact. Negative adverbs have negative meaning, and we know how important are the negative adverbs. We need to understand the use of adverbs, and adverbs can be placed at any place, in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. There is no problem wherever we can use the adverbs, but when it comes to negative adverb, they are also the words or the lexical items that can be used in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. But when we use the negative adverbs in the beginning, we have some sort of problems unless we know how to use them in the proper context, in the proper structure of sentence. So, the negative adverbs have negative meaning, and among the negative adverbs are never, seldom, hardly, rarely, rarely, hardly ever, rarely ever, scarcely, scarcely when, and no sooner than, neither. So they are different sort of negative adverbs. You don't have any problems when you use them in the middle or even in the end. But when you use them in the beginning, the problem comes off. And the problem is that really this is almost a rules, accepted norms, that when we use the negative adverbs in the beginning of the sentence, there is the inversion of subject and verb, and sometimes, like any other adverb, normal adverb, we tend to use them in the beginning without making this inversion, subject-verb inversion. Let's, for example, I have never seen him since 2006. So, when you are asked to use never in the beginning of the sentence, sometimes we use that without changing the structure of the sentence as never I have seen him dash dash dash, or the complete never I have seen him since 2006. In fact, this is not the correct sentence. It should be never have I seen him since 2006. And also, you can use all other adverbs in this context also. You know the meaning of the word never. You know the meaning of the word seldom, which means rarely, not very often. Sometimes we have to use hardly ever or barely ever. This is a kind of collocations, a word combinations, which has hardly ever or barely ever has its negative meaning. It means almost never. Hardly ever have I taken non-vegetable food. I am a completely vegetarian, and I have hardly ever taken any such food. If we use this hardly ever or barely ever in the beginning of the sentence, hardly ever have I taken any items that are considered to be non-vegetarian in nature. It means almost never. Barely ever means also almost never. Also, there are other words like by no means, under no circumstances. We tend to use them in the sentence. By no means can you secure 90% of marks unless you work hard. Under no circumstances can you ascribe the blame to that person because he is completely honest. And you know that no sooner than means almost, it means as soon as. Scarcely when means also as soon as. So we can have some sentences like, let's for example, as soon as the rain came, the kids started dancing. We can use in place of as soon as, like no sooner dash dash than or scarcely when. The sentence can be no sooner did the rain come than the kids started dancing, or scarcely did the rain come when the kids started dancing. So you should also know that no sooner is followed by then and scarcely is followed by when, because they are the adverbial, negative adverbial items, or correlative. We can say that no sooner is always followed by THEN then, and scarcely is always followed by WHEN when. They can be used in the middle also, but when you use them in the middle, there is no problems. But when you use them in the beginning, the problem arises. The problem comes off. So I like to sum up here. The negative adverbs are never, seldom, rarely, barely, hardly. Hardly ever, barely ever. It means almost never. You should know that. They are also no sooner dash dash than, scarcely dash dash than, also a negative adverb on its own. By no means, under no circumstances, at no cost. When this negative items no is used and you need to use them in the beginning of the sentence, there will be the inversions, subject verb inversions, and in this way you need to use them. So thus are the meanings of all these negative adverbs, and their special use as a beginning adverb of the sentence. Thank you so much. If you like it, share it with your friends. Thank you so much.